I love the green frog store. That was probably the craziest thing I've heard being abroad, to be honest. Like, why? Hi, my name is Sara. I'm an architectural assistant in Wrocław, Poland. I'm Polish, but I studied abroad in Northern Ireland and in Sweden, and later did an internship in Denmark. And let me tell you, there are some assumptions about Polish people and what we're like. I never thought about it before until I moved to a different country and suddenly everyone was asking questions about my nationality, my language, my traditions. And then I noticed that, hey, people have some misconceptions and assumptions about who you are and where you come from. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not to bash anyone that had said these things or people that just aren't educated on Polish culture because, hey, there's so many countries in the world and it's probably impossible to remember and also just know how people are like in all of these countries. But I'm just recording this video to share with you some real things that people have told me as a Polish person abroad. So when I introduce myself and I say, hey, I'm Sara, I'm from Poland, there are a few different reactions. Usually people are like, oh, that's cool, I've never been to Poland. And that's kind of the average common response, right? But no, there's also quite a few other answers that I've heard when I introduce myself like that. Number one, people would go, oh, Poland, I've been to Kraków. It's usually one of the big cities that people have visited, and I always love that people are so happy to kind of relate to having visited your country. I think it's so endearing and it's so fun to hear people's opinions about the cities that are in your country and what they thought. There were quite a few times where I had to actually explain where Poland is and what language we speak and what currency we actually have. A lot of people assumed that we actually have euros when we have our own currency, zloty. One response was kind of surprising to me because I said, hi, I'm Sara, I'm from Poland. And immediately that person goes, you don't look Polish. And like, what does that mean? You know, it got me thinking, I was like, what am I supposed to look like to be Polish? Like, what do they imagine a Polish person to be? Another aspect that really shocked me is a lot of people didn't know that Polish as the language is in the alphabet that's the same as in English, German, and so on. Of course, we have a few letters that are a bit different, but generally it's the same alphabet. There are a few people that assume that in Poland we speak Russian. Well, no. I mean, I guess some people do speak Russian, but it's not our native tongue. We speak Polish. And another thing that someone assumed is that we have a different alphabet. But as I said, it's the same. Now, of course, you know, what people say and how they react is a kind of combination of their experiences, their opinions, and what they have learned from the world. Some questions and assumptions were a little less nice than others. There was one time where I introduced myself. I said, hi, I'm Sara, I'm from Poland. And they said, oh, you're the first girl that I met that's Polish. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's me. And you know, that would be fine if that ended there. But no, that person goes, yeah, I've only met like 40-year-old men that work in construction that are Polish. I was like, right, okay, right. You know, sometimes those assumptions and those sort of associations about people abroad, especially Polish people abroad, is quite unique, I have to say. And you kind of cannot even get mad at them because, as I said, it's kind of just a combination of what they know. And the best way to combat this is to actually share your culture in a positive way, share what life is like in your country, and basically fix those assumptions to match the truth. Not everyone in Poland works in construction. I can't believe I'm even saying this, you know, but so it's not the first time that I've had someone ask about that, so yeah. I remember that a lot of times if I introduced myself that I'm from Poland, a lot of people would ask me, but you don't have a Slavic accent. How are you from Poland? And well, I understand the surprise, but not everyone from a specific country will have the same accent. I mean, my story is a little unique because my mom is an English teacher, so I spoke English with like an American accent, and so I got used to speaking it in that way. And then when I moved abroad, I kind of like absorbed the other sort of accents, so now it's kind of a mix. But yeah, I'm Polish and I don't have a Slavic accent, and that's fine. Now, as I said, most people are super kind, and also they're very curious because either they haven't been to Poland or they've only been to a few cities in Poland, are very excited to like share their experiences. And one of my favorites is someone going, "Oh, you're from Poland? I love the Green Frog store." Now, for everyone that doesn't know the context, there is this one convenience store in Poland called Żabka, which is basically Little Frog translated. And it is just a convenience store, kind of like 7-Eleven, but Polish. And it's just so funny to me how people just like describe that as the little green frog store. I just love it. I think it's really cute. One thing I also love about being Polish abroad is sharing my love for the food. And when people finally try it, they agree. And I'm like, I told you pierogi are banging. I told you. And I feel like I get very patriotic about the food because I'm like, you need to try Polish schabowy, okay? And not schnitzel, okay? It's schabowy, it's different. Your life will be changed. So I think it's really fun when people are like, "Oh, pierogi are the best." I'm like, I know, bro. It's so good. But I have to tell you, the craziest interaction I've had, which shocked me really, was I once introduced myself to someone abroad. Again, typically like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I say, "Well, I'm from Poland." And they go, "Oh, but where's Poland?" So I start, explaining the typical, like, if you have Europe and then you have Germany, and then next to Germany, there's Poland, and we're kind of by the sea, Baltic Sea, kind of explain the geographical location. And that person starts looking very confused. They're like, they're like so lost. And I'm like, are you thinking about something? Like, what's up? And they're like, "Oh, Poland. So it's not like by the North Pole, right?" I wish I could say that I made this up. I wish. I wish I could. But this person, bless them, thought that Poland had something to do with North Pole. And I think that was the craziest thing that I've experienced. Trying to explain that Poland is not like frozen over with snow and ice the whole year was quite the experience. And that's pretty much it for now. I think that kind of sums up most interactions I've had introducing myself as a Polish person abroad. As I said, most people are so kind and so curious and almost excited to come visit. So I know that this is, very select examples of people that were a little bit lost about my country and about where I come from. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had a little bit of a laugh from this. And if you're from Poland, let me know, what are your craziest interactions with people abroad? Because I'm so curious. I feel like there's so many interesting perspectives on your country, and you don't realize them until you meet people from a different country. And yeah, it's kind of like a bonding experience to meet someone from a different country and like explain to each other the traditions and similarities and differences between your cultures and upbringings. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you soon next time. Bye!